It's not easy for me to bear this pain, as I was psychologically tripping.
Oh, hi there. It's been a year, hasn't it? I'm 16 and this is my last year as a junior, going into senior. So yeah, the year is 2023. And this is Colleen. She is 26 years old. And she has 4 kids. So yeah, let's have a joint.
And falling. I felt the impulse to rise and start moving. Oh, hell no. It's not possible. I was so weak. Agony descended on me. What shall become of my dreams? Nobody could cheer me up because I was living a friendless life. So my only succor is my family, my father and mother, and the doctors and nurses who kept speaking life into me. My parents started sourcing for funds to save my life. A lot of thoughts were already running through my brains. Where on earth will my dad get such amount of money? What will happen to me after now? It was quite challenging, but my dad determined to see that his only child lived. After 48 hours, the doctor told us that the only solution to the challenge is to... I hardly attend lectures.
You have a fucking fat ass, by the way, Colleen.
People said I became rude and inhuman. And then my dress code automatically changed.
And nice tits
I started
too.
disliking decent and corporate wears and preferred sexy and nude clothing. I myself trained to be a strip dancer. Wherever there is a club, that's where you find me, no matter the time. Luckily enough, I got a job at a strip nightclub in town. I enjoyed my new job and entertained my customers well such that I was second to none in strip dancing. I was having a good time with the job and even started mingling with the manager. We became close and had fun severally. I got attracted to the manager the very first day I came to apply for the job, and the manager responded positively. On the night of Boîte de la Boîte, I rolled badly that my moves and rolls attracted Mr. Black, the manager of the strip club. I never knew he was crushing on me. For the very first time as I was dancing, my fist lost control and I almost fell off the strip with my head bowed to the earth, and I suddenly felt a hand that gripped me. On lifting my head, behold, it was Mr. Black. He whispered to me, "I love you. You remind me of someone special." He carried me down from the stage as I walked into my room panting like a dog that lost a fight. Then I asked who it was I reminded him of. He told me that it was his love that works here in the strip club that died some months ago, and he feels the same thing for me. Even right now, it's as if he is seeing her. I got scared the more. "What was the date of the accident?" I inquired. 7th of February, 2006, he responded. He also told me that it was 7 persons that died and the hospital they were rushed to. I immediately left him there and went to the hospital where my surgery was carried out and made all the inquiries. The document of the transplant was shown to me, as well as the photocopied death certificate which Mr. Black gave me, and it was confirmed that it was Soya's heart that was transplanted to me. My goodness, I couldn't believe it. I dropped a note that explains my findings to him at the bar, and went home weak and confused to do anything. But I have to start preparing for the night show. I never knew that Black was still in love for me, not minding what I do for a living. How I strip myself at nightclub was not his concern. While in my cubicle, my white towel tied around my waist after having a cool shower, as I was applying my body cream, I heard the sounding of someone opening my door. I felt it was my roommate, but it was not her. It was a tall, heavily built, and a cute guy standing with his legs crossed in front of my door.
My baby Colleen.
It was Mr. Black. I was dumbfounded. He calmly closed the door and made his way towards me. I was becoming nervous, and trust me, I have never been this nervous before a man since I became wild doing my strip dance business. However, I decided to overcome this nervousness as I stood up. He held me on my slippery arms. There was this feeling that moved within my arteries and veins that got me shaking. This is not me! Immediately he whispered into my ears, "You cannot run away from me. Even if you run, you cannot hide. If you hide, there's only one place you can hide, and that is in here," pointing to his heart. As his passionate eyes were already gazing into my eyes, I wondered where this is heading. As I turned round and slowly bending my head just to avoid his charming looks, he raised my head gently, lifting my jaw. As I gazed into his eyes this second time, I became more tensed. He still fixed his brown eyes looking into mine with uttermost devotion and commitment. I was ready to strip because I thought he wanted a quick fun as usual so that I can attend to other customers. Instead, he took the cream that was still in my hands, offering to help me finish the application as he gently applied the cream. Myriads of thought kept flowing in me. I was engrossed with the movement of his hands, and I felt this passionate bliss and heat that is rising within me as I got more intensified. It was truly a mixed feeling. Mr. Black put his arm around my waist, lifting me on the sofa, and knelt before me. Surprisingly, he never did anything but kept looking into my eyes.
Do you smoke weed,
Rhea,
cocaine, and smoke?
You are indeed the bone
Yes?
of my bone
Cool.
and flesh of my flesh,
He's enjoying the
and I
smoke.
promise to make you happy and fulfill all your dreams. I thank God that my lost love was brought back to me. Please,
Come
will
and join
you
and
marry
then
me?
smoke. Do the fuck?
As he kisses in
Yes,
a golden
baby.
ring into my
Baby
mouth.
Isaac. Cool.
I said
What you calling?
yes to him.
Too.
Yeah, I accepted to marry him because since I met him, I have full joy. Immediately, he carried me up in ecstasy with the tears in his eyes. "I will make you the happiest woman on
Can you
earth,"
make me
he
gag
screamed.
and choke me?
We were very happy, laughing
make me have
without
an
fear and
orgasm?
words on the cushion as the stars light up the sky like
Sure.
a treasure in an island.
How far do
Our
you
hearts
want
skip in
my dick
ecstasy
to
as they
go?
feel the waves' current
All
whispering
the way in.
secrets as old as creation to our souls, telling
Cool,
folklores
baby.
of a
I know
magnetic
what?
love so far, yet near to immortals. And as the cool morning breeze rushes to our feet like children at play in a sonata moonlight, those affirmative words spiced with a soothing touch,
I'm not in
a
you.
healer of sorrows and pains
Yes.
in his boredom,
Fuck yeah.
a moment when the past is erased,
Cool.
and a new beginning born
How
to
many
fertilize
dicks
the
have you
soul
had?
and purge every detail of heartbreak away.
Including yours?
As we lay on the floor of the dunes, I heard the splashing of the waters creating ripples as the birds sing lullaby songs to celebrate a new beginning.
Million.
A moment carved so deep into the sands of time.
Fair enough.
A moment that defines who we are. A moment that sticks forever. Never-ending episodes that only the morning dews could melt away into forever.
Gonna fuck at my place or your place?
Stacked and packed with 25
Your
feet
place.
of track. Thomas and
Cool.
Friends Trains and Cranes Super Tower.
And oh yeah, guys, I forgot to tell you. My mom and my dad kicked me out. I'm living down that way now. So yeah,
That's no way to treat
I live on my own.
Did anyone else see that?
I still go to school down there, but I live on my own now. In the unit. Or housing commission, or whatever you want to call it.
to love a heart as soft as yours, Rhea, my love. This is reality and dream come true. It serenades both body and soul. Black said to me as my strip dance job ended that night with Black by my side. I am Dia and I'm 17. I am very bright, but there are indelible marks that seem to be stigma to which I've tried to deal with. It has not been easy, but I tried my best to push through. When I was 12,
I love you, baby.
I had an accident
love you
with
too,
the boiling
baby.
water when my mother was cooking in the kitchen. I sustained injury on my right arm. My skin peeled as a result of the incident. It looked ugly, and I never like. Yeah, it was because of this reason that I covered it all the time at school. It was my decision not to disclose it with my friends' friends, and I maintained. There was this guy in my school. We do homework together.
Oh my god!
And when we play games, we make the team. He is a funny guy, fair and tall. On our last day at school, before vacation, a group of us agreed to go swim, and we chose a popular swimming pool not too far from our school. We were all excited, and off we went, but before our arrival, I was a bit moody, having remembered my scar since it must be uncovered and seen by everyone. On arrival, everyone jumped into the pool, but I was hiding myself to avoid what I knew. Finally, I joined my friends, and while I was swimming, I was searching for my friend Tim. To my amazement, Tim was nowhere to be found. I kept swimming and searching until finally I saw him sitting at a corner, still putting on his navy blue jeans and white canvas. I took a pillow, covered my scar, and came out of the pool. Went straight to him and asked, "Why don't you swim with us? Especially me?" He answered and said he does not really like.
What do you do
After the
for
swimming
a living?
experience, we went home together.
I'm a teacher.
But while in the bus, I asked him why he didn't join us to swim because I
And
thought there must be a reason for his
stripper.
unbalanced
And a
excuse.
stripper. I'm a
He then
teacher and
opened
a
up to
stripper.
me and said he has a scar on his
Right
leg.
there.
That's his
I
reason
know.
for not swimming since he always avoid exposing it. At this point, I told him about my scar too, which was similar to his own. The difference is that mine is on my hand, while his own is on the leg, and he was surprised. While we were having our chat in the bus, a lady sitting close heard a little about our
My
conversation.
body is yours.
She gave me a sign
If
with one
I
eye,
push
which
you
means,
off, then you
"You
can
guys
let
are
me
intimate
at
friends."
home,
Right on.
or let
I caught
me
the sign
in
and responded in a
school,
lady's way
baby.
too, and Tim was not even aware of that.
You're welcome, baby.
When it was time for me to
Anytime.
alight from the bus, I pretended I never knew we were close because I raised a funny joke which got I and Tim laughing out loud. When Tim realized the bus had passed where I should stop, he laughed and said I should not worry, but I insisted. When we were walking down to his way, he said he has never been this happy in all his life. He started telling me a story of how a girl laughed him to scorn. He said it started when I was 5. I was good at climbing, be it tree, stick, chair, and anything climbable. Both of us laughed as we were still walking. On that fateful Sunday morning, my dad was still in his room, and my mother was in the bathroom pasting. I was doing my climbing from one chair to another in the sitting room. It was time for breakfast, and my mother was preparing the table. Suddenly, I threw up my brown teddy bear. In my attempt to catch it, I hit my body on the dining table. The collision was so hard that the hot water for coffee turned and every drop of it poured on my leg as I was at the top of my voice. My mouth was already
Dumb
bleeding
bitch.
by the
That's
time
why
Mom
you should
arrived,
have a man
because I
around
also hit my face on the
to
table.
do it for you, you dumb bitch.
I was immediately raised and taken to the hospital. As a little boy of 5, my skin was so soft that it did not take a couple of minutes for my skin to start peeling.
For all sorts of thoughtful gifts this Christmas, Santa's first stop is Officeworks, like the Google Nest Hub.
No, not a man to
The
do it for
doctor
you.
said nurses that attended to me did
Fuck
their
you.
best.
You
Later
stupid
on,
bitch.
I started recovering,
That's all
but by
she
the
is.
time I was out of pain, my skin was already looking scary and messy. I remember my
Stupid
dad
bitch.
always cautioned me about climbing. Then my father took me out for shopping. And as we were shopping, a woman with her daughter of about 10 or 11 years were also shopping. I was putting on half pant with wine red polo. As we were shopping, the girl that came shopping with her mom saw me, looked at me, and as I looked at her too, smiling, suddenly she looked down and saw the scar on my leg and gave me a shocking sign. Next, she came a bit closer, and after looking at my leg, bursted in laughter. I couldn't hold it, but I felt so cold. As I talk, her picture and all she did are fresh in my memory. I couldn't but held Tim on his right hand and said to him, "It's okay. It's all in the past. Thank God the hot water didn't come close to your handsome face." Tim smiled at me in such a manner as one that wants to say something emotional. By the time I looked up, we were close to Tim's bus stop. He said he must walk me down to my bus stop, and it was fun walking to and fro that day, because we were not going to see till school resumes, and it was a long vacation. Something dramatic happened, and I was speechless as Tim was telling me his story. I recalled an encounter I had at a shopping mall with a boy. I still can remember that I laughed at a boy after taking a close look at the scar on his leg. I couldn't help but to tell Tim that I had a confession to make. He was amazed at such word and could be the confession. He said I should speak up.
Let's have a smoke
I
now,
told him
then
to look
head
at
to
me,
my
and he did.
place and fuck.
I said to
Done,
him,
baby.
"I'm that girl you had the encounter with at the mall." He looked at me with utmost amazement. He looked at me, and I couldn't hold it. The fire came so strong in me, and I hugged him, and he held me so tight. I felt like I was in heaven with vanilla ice cream and chocolate. I said to him, "I love you. I love you. I love you so much."
Let's push it and let's head to the crib. Done, baby. Cool.
Idiot!
Unlock my car. Come in. Unlock your car, baby. Thanks, baby Cody.
She is the worst. Hello there.
Yeah, buddy, gang wise. Here we are.
Roger the Dodger.
Rocket.
Hey, how's the macrobiotic food truck, dude? Did anyone else see that?
No way!
Let me say around.
Did anyone else
And you
see
too,
that?
Colin. Cool. This is the computer area, kitchen, lounge room, balcony out there, dinner table, fireplace here, then storage, bathroom, spare bedroom, my bedroom, balcony, and balcony. Cool. I know what, baby. Let's chill on the balcony out here. Fair enough, let's do this. And then smoke the rest of our, done. Here we are.
As if the name mentioned was not enough to convince us, a short video clip showed, and behold, my Tim, before journalists narrating the
Return
tragic
for one more
All I
joint
could
and then
remember
the
later was
smoke
seeing
and
my
we'll
Tim
fuck.
on television.
Done,
Because from what I was
baby.
told,
Cool.
the moment I saw
Good
my
girl.
Tim,
I know.
slumped and was revived at the hospital with the help of oxygen. My dad and my mom planned attending the funeral service without me to avoid further problems. But when they saw it wise to take me along, they had no option than to do so. At seeing me, my Tim came and gave me a deep hug. I was his consolation throughout the funeral. Thank God I saw my Tim.
Oh my god!
Babe, just pretty breath away. Hi, I'm Emma,
No,
and I live in a small city
okay.
where people are not too much, but
As you can see, I'm talking out of character for a second. Let's see, what about this balcony here? Does this balcony allow that stupid NPC to go near me, or not really? Let's have a look. Or maybe out this way, dude. Yeah, this way would do. Okay. That's just the balcony of the characters now. Okay, 3, 2, 1, action.
I love to live a low-key life. Nothing. We got so disturbed and even had to enter the nearby woods, but our search was still futile. Then and there a thought came into my head, and I had to tell the taxi driver that maybe the cat had returned home to the house after they left her in the street. After saying that, we entered the car and headed back to the taxi driver's house to check if the cat was there. Luckily enough for us, at arrival, we saw the cat crying in the house. We both embraced her and kind of tried explaining how much we have looked for her. She stopped crying and kept rubbing her fur gently on us. By now it was already too late, and considering the condition of the car, I didn't want the taxi driver to risk anything just to drop me off, so I just asked him if I could sleep over that night at his place. Actually, I had so much confidence that nothing would go wrong, like I expected, and he agreed and said I could sleep with him and the cat together in the bed if I wanted to. The suggestion was okay with me, but I told him I had to take my bath first since the day's stress actually got me sweating profusely. He showed me his bathroom and I took my bath but had to wear the same clothes I wore before. I came back and laid down on the bed with him, and just a few minutes after we started discussing again, we suddenly heard a knock on the door. And since it was late in the night, we were both worried and scared. The first thought that came to my mind was if it was actually armed robbers. I was literally shaking in the bed. The taxi driver summoned up courage and opened the door, and right there were 2 policemen and my parents with them. According to them, they'd been looking for me all day. I was so happy that my parents came to pick me up, but why they had come with the cops was something I didn't understand. The cops took the taxi driver, handcuffed him, and he was prosecuted and sent to jail. Cops thought that he actually did something bad to me, but I told them he was a good man, and he had never done anything bad to me, but they didn't really believe anything I said. One of the cops kept saying that maybe the man had threatened me not to reveal the truth. He told my father that the taxi driver had done similar things in the past. Well, I don't really know how true that might be. All I knew was that he never hurt me in any way. After the taxi driver was sent to jail, I decided to take care of his cat and mine. I'm sure that's the least help I could render to him. But even with that, I'm still confused. I don't know what to do. Can I go to visit him in prison? I'm sure he'd be happy to see me, but I don't know if my parents would want me to do that. Or maybe I should just let things be, and after serving his jail time, he'll be released and I can hand over his cat to him and apologize for what he's gone through because of me. Please help me by commenting on how I should act now, because I don't know what to do next. You can also like the video and subscribe to our channel. Like a bolt from the blue, everything I could ever dream of: love, value, passion. The other, forbidden love, punctuated by dangerous choices. Finally, one day, I decided to visit him, irrespective of what the consequences may be. Because since after I learned my lessons on the disadvantage of judging or doing things based on assumption, I started to take bold steps and good risks. So I got dressed in my skimpy skirt and top and immediately made my way to the jail. On my way, I was lost in thought on what could be his condition.
Let's never join.
Now that I've not seen him for 2 months, who knows how he looks now? Can he still recognize me?
I know what, baby.
I just hope I can still see him. Amidst my fears, the one that fears me most was if my taxi driver friend would permit me to come close to him, because it's obvious that he was sent to jail because of me. That look of guilt was all over me, just like a rat that was caught stealing. Gosh, I've passed the jail! I screamed at the taxi driver that was driving me. Are you stupid? I rudely screamed out of annoyance. You've passed the jail! Oh, sorry, ma'am. I was expecting you to tell me you want the light. The innocent taxi driver responded in a polite manner. Then I got conscientious of myself. This is not me. I was overreacting and transferring aggression because of what I'm about to face. Then I apologized to him and asked him to take me back to the jail, which we have already passed. He gave a slight sigh and headed to the roundabout to take an upturn back to the jail. At last we got there, and I alighted immediately in a hurry, heading to the gate when the taxi driver yelled out, "Madam, you've not paid me." I immediately came back and paid him in a hurry. Am I having a psychological problem or what? What's really happening to me? I seem not to understand myself anymore. Immediately, I got to the jail. By this time, I became intensively nervous. I got this feverish feeling all over me, causing me to shiver. Immediately, I saw the policeman walking up and down. I had to compose myself immediately. I got to the table where I was queried of who I came to see and who he is to me. Remember, I've decided to deal with pretense. So the true nature of what I felt for the taxi driver made me want to say something beyond a friend, but I sensed it could complicate issues, as my parents are already involved in the case. So I just told them that he was just a friend. After the interrogation, I was asked to register my details, which I did without compulsion. I was taken to another room where I waited for him to be brought out. Oh, my heart skipped a beat as I looked at my friend. He has really changed a lot. His beard has grown so long and bushy. He used to be lean, tall, and handsome. But right now all those physical appearances are thrown to oblivion. How I wish I could find this thin air where they disappeared to, so I can restore them back. How impossible it is right now. Tears dripped down my cheek as I hugged him passionately, not letting him go. I felt like kissing away his tears, which were flowing like a river. His became uncontrollable that I had to instantly be strong for him. Suddenly, every fear that I had about him disappeared. He is too innocent and calm to hurt a fly. Talk more of committing a crime. I brought out my handkerchief and wiped away his tears. I promised him that I would do whatever it takes to see that he is out of jail. It's already been 2 months he's been in jail. Does it mean that nobody cares about him, and even his so-called uncle is not aware of his condition, for them to leave him like this? How have you been, dear? As you can see, I am fine, he responded with a smile, which I feel was not real. As I was about to ask him the next question in my mind, he continued, "It has been hell here, not seeing you for months, Carol. I have lost all sanity, but thank God, now that I have seen you, I feel much better. Carol, eating has been difficult for me, but trust your presence have changed everything in my system." I felt pity for him because I am certain that his suffering is as a result of our friendship. His words were so passionate that they swam into my marrows and sprouted out the feelings I had for him. I must be honest, although I don't know if it is a wise feeling, but by this time I felt like kissing him, especially those tears that kept dropping down his cheeks. I felt this magnetic force pushing my lips to his as we stood opposite each other with the table serving as a barrier. But then I gained this consciousness again to discontinue the action. Then he held my hands across the table. "Carol," he called, "I need you to do me a favor if you really value me and want the best of my happiness. This is the only thing that can bring me out of this jail alive." "What is that?" I responded without mincing words. "I need you to go to my uncle's house. Take my house keys and get me the pictures of my cat. You know I can't be with my cat here. I just want to take a glance at it once more. She is the source of my joy. Please help me." I understood his plight, because my own cat has always been an antidepressant for me. That is how comforting cats can be, and true to the fact, at a time like this, Taxi Driver's cat is the only one that can help him overcome his depression. Do I really have an option? Not now. I promised to get to his uncle's house, collect his keys, and get the cat's pictures. Then I requested of his uncle's address, which he gave me. I hugged him and left for the mission. I headed immediately to Uncle Sam's house. On my way, I was still reflecting on what happened in there some minutes ago. That feeling that almost made me kiss him. Oh, it feels so good. Was this really out of pity, or was I just being real? I asked myself. Well, time will tell. Let's go complete this mission first. Locating Uncle Sam's house wasn't really that stressful because Taxi Driver has already showed me his house before. On getting to Uncle Sam's house, he was at the table munching some fruits. He gave me a warm welcome. As I delivered the message, he immediately abandoned the fruits and went into his room and came out almost in a jiffy. He said, "Let's go." Like a military man, I followed after him as we both marched down to the Taxi Driver's house like soldiers. That anyone who saw us coming need not to be told that something was wrong. We arrived at the Taxi Driver's house, and as I was waiting to get the pictures from Uncle Sam, I spotted the cat running under the sofa. I was excited when I saw her, thinking she's going to smile at me, but she didn't. I tried to grab her, but she is very far from my reach. This attracted the help of Uncle Sam. He pushed her several times, and I finally got the cat. But while he pushed her, I also found a strange paper under the sofa, a paper with names and X's. X. I had to hide the paper from Uncle Sam, and I secretly left with it. After some minutes, Uncle Sam came out with a bag. He handed over the bag to me. He said that the bag contains all the pictures, but I shouldn't open it for any reason. All I need to do is hand it over to the taxi driver. "This bag will probably take the taxi driver out from the jail," he warned. Now I'm beginning to sense something fishy about the whole scenario. I was so curious about the bag and even more curious about the strange paper I found under the sofa. So I decided to take the risk. When I arrived home, I opened the strange letter I found, and guess what I found? A paper with 7 names, and all of them were crossed with an X as they were eliminated. And in the end, I saw my name, Carol. And my name looks like it was waiting to get eliminated, or what I can call the next in line. I was astonished at what I saw. Could this be true? May there be this mistake somewhere? Or it's certainly not my own Carol. There and then, my feelings about the taxi driver automatically changed. Does this mean that the cops were right when they said that the taxi driver has done this in the past? Maybe the taxi driver was trying to fool me to get me assassinated much later. Oops. Don't really know the thought to believe now. My head got heavy. But that's not really my problem now. My problem is what to do with this mysterious paper that I found my name on. I was confused on whether to send the letter to the police or keep it secret. It really took me the whole week to think through. Not until the weekend, when I decided to handle it my own way. I know it's quite risky for me to take the paper to see the taxi driver. Perhaps I would question him about this, because my life is at risk too. Uncle, need to eat. up moments with them. Sometimes when I come close to him, seeking for just petting and care, the next thing would either be an interruption from a business call or a haste to work. Growing up was never fun for me, and now someone is giving it to me with quality attention, love, and care without seeking anything in return. But then, I was reluctant to allow him to have his way. Of course, you know that I was still afraid from the time I found the strange paper. "You are not going to escape me this time," I murmured within myself. I was now very much out to talk to him about the papers I found, and when I was about to... Chris, who could have taken this? It was right here, he exclaimed. Then he took to his phone, which he forgot in the taxi, and called Uncle Sam on the phone. He did not answer. He sank on the sofa with a deep sigh. "What is it you are looking for? Tell me so I can help you," I said to him.
He had not changed himself after my mom left him.
Until the smoke, another smoke, double fuck, baby, calling. Done.
I'm Stephanie. I live in law with my parents. They were everything to me until I met Jude, my new boyfriend. I love him so much, I don't want to get separated from him never and ever. I met Jude a few days after my parents, and I moved to La because my father had just been transferred to lead a branch of the stockbroking company he works for in our old city of residence. At first, I didn't buy the idea because I would have to lose all my friends and, most importantly, my plans to get back at Truce, my first boyfriend. Truce was 3 years my senior, but our relationship was delicate. I felt safe whenever I was with him. He was an honest guy, classy and straightforward before everything changed. He was the head of the football team then, and I was just a girl on the cheerleading team. My parent knew about my relationship with Truce, and I don't think they were happy about it. My father didn't really act up, but my mom, let's just say she was acting like a typical mother who thinks her child isn't in safe hands, would do. I really appreciate their concerns, but I thought Truce wasn't that bad. Truce did visit my place from time to time, and he's always welcomed. Truce, who had no other objectives, don't waste time in the living room. We always head straight to my bedroom, you know. I was the lousy one. I screamed a lot and said so many naughty words. I think my parents heard but weren't bothered, while Truce, on the other hand, just remained cool. I did think I didn't satisfy him, but he never said that. What else can I ask for, you'll say? Moreover, my parents were busy individuals. That hasn't changed a bit anyways. They traveled on business trips a lot. I frequently followed Truce out to places or clubs. Most of them weren't so cool, but I didn't care. I felt safe with Truce. He was like my big brother. Though still against my parents' counsel, my association with Truce was perfect until that fateful night, one of the nights my parents went on their business trips as usual. Truce came to my place. As usual, he called on me, and as I was dressing up, he bumped in and met me not fully dressed. He took a long gaze at me from the head down. I noticed this, so I stopped dressing. I know I have a good shape. Assuming the mirror was lying to me, people say I took after my mom. She's hot. I've not gotten all those curves, and the 2 babies on my chest are not fully grown, but I had potentials. Truce kept admiring me. His mouth was gaping up. El could tell he wanted to have me, but I was teasing him. I hurried up with my dressing. I noticed he was hard, but he kept his cool. I smiled. To satisfy his lust, I kissed him passionately and whispered to his ear when we returned. We found our way to his motorcycle outside. It wasn't like those pretty bikes in Hollywood movies, but it rocks for a high school student to have his own bike. He started the cycle, and I jumped on it from behind. I held him by the waist as he zoomed off. We stopped in front of a club. This one was new. We had been to different clubs repeatedly, but not this one. I started getting uncomfortable. I looked at Truce's face, and he smiled back at me. I gulped in a handful of saliva purposefully to show my discomfort, but his emotion didn't really change. Then he came close to me as if he was going to hug me and whispered to my hearing something I never forgot. This is where I really belong. Had I known, I would have taken to the heel, but I remained stubborn despite my instincts. Let's just assume I love being gullible, at least for that time or for the worse my whole life. My life is about to change for good on the positive part, but looking at that situation, things didn't go as planned. Well, I never had any plan, Truce plan at all. This was the day I will never forget. This was the day that changed my family's life. My father took that gig in light even though he was doing just fine here. My mom thought leaving was the best too, at least she would avoid shame, and it was depression for me on my side. I remembered vividly after that night, I said to myself, never will I date any guy until the end of high school. That didn't last much. Jude came into the picture earlier than the end of high school. Maybe I can't be trusted with my own words either. My emotion got the best of me, and I love it. Truce placed his hands around my neck as we walked towards the bouncer. I was a lot shorter than him, but I pretended to be cool with it. He started muttering some jokes that I found not funny anymore due to my current situation, but continued credulous. When we got to the bouncer, I became the stranger. It was as if he had known the bouncer longer than I knew my mom. There was great chemistry between the big guy and Truce. He allowed us in without asking for any ID. Funny, right? I know it is a culture for bouncers to ask for IDs, but this time was different. My mind flashed back to when we first met after a football game against the other best team in town, my then high school team's archenemy Oaks Christian. As the team's captain, Truce got injured early in the game. He could not proceed. He was stretched out of the playing zone, and since I was the youngest in the cheerleading team, I basically did not cheerlead at all. I was more like the errand girl in the group. I got the first aid box and walked reluctantly towards the team's captain. No one stopped me, not even the teachers. Everyone kept looking at the brave small girl walking towards the biggest boy in school. I have the skills since I was part of the Red Cross community in my junior school. I tended to his wound and made him very comfortable. Then I saw a smile on his face. I think he was satisfied with my services. He said, "I am Truce Dempsey. What is your name?" I can't believe my ears. Almost confused, I replied, "I am Stephanie Brown." Then he said, "Will you go have coffee with me tomorrow at the cafe?" Somebody hit me. The biggest boy in high school just asked me out. I carefully said, "Yes, I would love to have a cup of coffee." That was just 3 months ago from this fateful day. I thought I knew him, but that night I realized I didn't know him that much. I wanted to cry already. We entered the club. Almost everybody recognized Truce. I was surprised. How long has he been visiting this place? It was as if he was there the night before. He introduced me to everyone. The guys were top-notch, and the girls were so hot. Well, I'm the youngest, and I had potentials. The ladies are sexy to behold, and their curves are heaven. I felt like holding their 2 babies in my hands. I felt like an opposite gender by gazing at them. I noticed all the details they possessed. Before getting caught off guard, I quickly brought out my phone and started watching some videos. While I was busy with my phone, the ladies were whispering and laughing. I think they were talking about me, but who cares? I shrugged it off as I tried to find out what the boys were up to. Those guys were really planning something big or maybe crazy. Truce looked at my side from time to time and winkled at me in every instance. Everything there was kind of creepy. The noise was so loud like every other club. The bartenders were doing their job, but 10 people were in attendance. All are familiar individuals, with me being the only stranger. The guys are done with their presumed board meeting, and each guy went for their girls. Truce came to me and asked me what will I love to take. This wasn't the best moment to get drunk. I replied, "Water is fine." He looked at me in disappointment, but I didn't care at this moment. I repeated I would love cold water. He stood up, went straight to the bar and got himself a few beers, and got me 2 chilled bottles of water from the big freezer beside the bar. I sipped my water while every other person was marrying. The party moved from seriousness to naughtiness. The other girls are doing their thing before I could get my head around what is going on. A certain girl was really riding on a guy's lap so hard. Looking at his face, you can tell he will soon go. The girl was so good. Several hours had gone. A lot of adult scenes. All the guys present had wet themselves except Truce, who was on his 6th bottle of beer.
Let's do this. Done, baby.
Oh my god!
Done, baby.
Did anyone else see that?
Let's do this. Done. Let's fucking
no way
do
to treat a
this,
lady.
bitch.
Oh my
Yeah.
god! Did anyone else see that?
Fuck me. Oh hi, it's the next day. So yeah, let's chill and smoke. Well, I won't see you until the next day after today or something like that, or next week or whenever. But until then, I'll be chilling here. Going home, wagging school, chilling here. Until we meet again, see you my friend.